has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
All right, hour 3 of C2C on a Terrible Towel Tuesday. I'll be on the way to Vegas tomorrow. Carver High will be doing the show. And then I'll be on Thursday and Friday from the MGM Grand getting ready for Canelo Berlanga. And let me just say before I leave, I have heard enough about this guy with his big mouth, this guy no one's ever heard of before, talking smack about how he's going to kill Canelo Alvarez. This poor kid, this poor guy is in for the rudest awakening ever. And there's nothing I like more than seeing rude awakenings. Like guys that think they got it all figured out with big mouths, there is nothing better than watching them have like multiple broken ribs and an orbital fracture. Honestly, like this guy is going to go to work on this guy. I mean, he's going to beat him like a tomato can. He's going to punch him so many times in the body and in the face. He's just going to look like it's just going to be a bloodletting. It really is. I mean, you can't deny it, Carver High. Would you give that guy any chance? You remember Chuck Zito? You got a puncher's chance. Everybody's got a puncher's chance. No, they don't.
I can't believe this. So the tomato can has been talking smack to Canelo. He thinks that he's going to beat him?
Smack like crazy. That he's the best knockout fighter in the sport right now. He's had like 17 fights or something. I could be wrong. And he's had like knockouts in every one of them. There's been hundreds of guys that had knockouts in their first 17 fights in boxing. And then they never fought anyone. And then they fight someone that matters and they get their ass beat.
That's just
everybody's a big shot until they're not. Do you understand this
guy,
Canelo Alvarez? The only time you ever see him lose is to Floyd Mayweather when he was too stupid to beat him and young and dumb. And the second time he went up to fight Bivol up in weight. You're asking for it if you go up in weight. You think remember what happened to Benavidez? We saw him fight a couple months ago. He went up in weight. He looked terrible. He looked terrible in that fight. He won, but he looked terrible. He looked absolutely terrible. Like, here's another bad decision. Let me go up and wait, and I'm going to win another belt. No, you're not. So at this weight, Canelo Alvarez don't lose to nobody. Nobody.
That's going to be a bad scene for that guy on Saturday.
I hope so. I hope they carry him out, literally. And I'm sitting right there front row.
Here we go.
And I will wave at you on pay-per-view. I told you. You can't even bet on it. The odds are so horrible. You can't even bet on it.
You can't play it. It's impossible to play. And yes, you can wave at that to me while I'm watching.
You have to bet on the round he's going to kill
football.
him. Not beat him, kill him. It's going to be, there's a bet, like there's a betting window, there's a market for killing him as opposed to beating him.
We'll finish the baseball now. The Dodgers are just they're gonna beat everybody in the NL. They're plus 160 here at this point. They are getting Yamamoto back tonight, which we'll talk about in a moment when we get to the Dodger game. Phillies, Padres, Brewers, Braves, Diamondbacks, Mets. So the Brewers have moved up quite a bit here, Scotty, on the big board for the NL.
They're tough. They win, and they win at home. I don't know how. I like Adames, a couple guys on that team, right? But I just don't know how they win so much. I really don't. I'm still trying to figure it out. But they're not. Seriously, they're not winning the World Series. They never do. And then look, I'm telling you, I live for the Dodgers losing. So any option at all, the D-backs, the Mets. I'm interested in the Padres. And then at some level, I will even stoop to root for the Phillies because I like Bryce Harper, and that's the only player I like on that team. But as you know, I go down there once in a while to games. I'll take anyone over the Dodgers, anyone at all, literally anyone at all.
If it's Phillies Dodgers, of course, we're rooting for the Phillies. There's no doubt about that. If that ends up being NLCS. By the way, they have the same record right now with just under 2 weeks to go, which is important if they do play in the NLCS in terms of who's going to have home field advantage there in the NL. So that's something to keep an eye on, too. All right, tonight, let's do it. Everybody is in action. We'll start in Detroit. I got to tell you, this has kind of surprised me, too. Did you know that the Tigers are now 2 games over at 73 and 71, and they're only 3.5 back? I know there's less than 2 weeks left now, but they were like 10 out. They're only 3.5 back of the last wild card in the American League. They'll have Kiter Montero going tonight against Bradley Blaylock, minus 190 for the Tigers, plus $1.60 for Colorado, and an 8.5.
Well, I mean, at that price, I mean, they're going to – I like them to win, but at that price, I'm not betting it. I'm run-lining it plus $1.05 with the Tigers. Listen, I told you, the Rockies don't win ever, except the first game of series that teams have to go into Coors. But this game's in Comerica in Detroit, so it's Tigers, run line.
Flat 3 now, by the way. It was 3.5 yesterday. Minnesota lost last night. So the Tigers are now a flat 3 behind the last wild card spot. That would be something else if the Tigers ended up getting involved. The Marlins are in Pittsburgh again tonight against the Pirates at PNC. Adam Oller against, I don't know this dude, Sky. I'll butcher this name. Your boy Carmen's pitching tonight. Mudzinski's going for the Buccos, who are minus 160 and an 8.5.
I mean, I'm on the over here. There's no way I can bet on Mudzinski. He's awful. But if I had to, I'd bet on that over because both of these guys are tattoo you in terms of giving up runs. So I'm thinking over.
I'm thinking over as well. The Rays are in Philadelphia.
I like the Bucks, but not at that price.
It's a big price for the Buccos, that's for sure. The Rays are in Philadelphia again. Ranger Danger Suarez against Taj Bradley. Minus 175 for the Phillies and a 7.5.
Again, this guy Suarez has been incredible. So I'm run lining this one with the Phillies at the bank.
Braves go to D.C. after losing to Cincinnati at home last night. Ronaldo Lopez against Mackenzie Gore. Minus 135 for the Braves, plus $1.15 for the Nats, and a 7.5.
Yeah, I like Lopez and the Braves here tonight in D.C. against Tipper Gore.
Mets look to stay hot and stay ahead of Atlanta in the NL wild card with David Peterson north of the border in Toronto. The Basset Hound goes for the Blue Jays. Mets minus 125, plus 105 for the Jays, and another 7.5.
I mean, I got to go with Don't Call Me Scott Peterson. Honestly, they've won 10 of 11, for Christ's sakes. Give me the Mets. The Basset Hound, the only thing he's got going for him is a cool nickname that we gave him because he sucks, though.
He has not been good for him in Toronto, that's for sure. Royals are in the Bronx again against the Yankees. Seth Lugo tonight against Marcus Stroman. Minus 145 for the Yankees, plus $1.20 for the Royals. And an 8.5. I could see what you said before. I could see this being the night the Royals get him, Scotty, in the Bronx.
I'm telling you, I am so on your boy Loogie. Give me Seth Lugo to beat Stroman the Showman at plus $1.22. There's some money to be made right there tonight with the Royals.
Indeed, and if the Royals did beat the Yankees, it would give an opportunity to Baltimore, who's at Fenway again tonight against the Red Sox. Albert Suarez against Cutter Crawford. Minus 135 for the Red Sox. Plus 115 for the O's and a 9.5.
I'm going Orioles tonight. It was all Boston last night. They're not that good. They've, basically called it a season. Give me the O's at plus money, plus $1.15.
We'll slide one more in. The Angels are in Minnesota against the Twins again. Griffin Canning and Pablo Lopez. Minus 250 for Minnie and an 8.5. Twins have lost 4 in a row.
Yeah, they're going to win tonight. That'll be the end of that losing streak tonight. Run line the Twins against the Angels. They're hacks. Canning
We'll
sucks.
do the rest when we come back. Yes, Canning stinks.
is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, the rest of the baseball on tap for tonight, Mike.
Yeah, let's go next to Chicago, where the 33 and 112 White Sox. It's just funny to hear that, right? 33 and 112. They have the Guardians again in town tonight. Ben Lively and Jonathan Cannon. Minus 235 for the Guards. Plus 195 for Chicago and an 8.5.
I mean, honestly, you have to run line the Guards, and you got to go with Don't Call Me Blake Lively. Your boy Cannon Cameras gets rocked every time he pitches. They are the most humiliating team that I can remember in a long time. I don't even know. How do you even describe 112 losses when you have just literally kicked the can? I mean, they are pathetic. I mean, honestly, they're like a high school team.
It made me think, like the Tigers got to 3 back, Minnesota, Kansas City, Cleveland, like they're all in the playoff on. It's because they all got to get fat on the White Sox this year. Like they all got like 10 or 12 more wins than everyone else because they got to play Chicago so many times. They're so pathetic. The Reds and the Cardinals are playing out the string in St. Louis. What a shame, Scotty, to hear that the Redbirds have to play out the string for another year in St. Louis. Rhett Lauder and Andre Palant going tonight. Minus 135 for the Cardinals, plus $1.15 for the Reds and an 8.5.
The Reds just keep winning, right? They just keep getting in the way like they did last night. So I'll take the Reds.
The A's and the Astros in Houston tonight. Spencer, don't call me Spaghetti Arrighetti, going for the Stros. It was supposed to be Osvaldo Bido for the A's tonight, Scotty. He has been scratched and put on the IL, so J.P. Sears and Roebuck is going to get the ball instead. Minus 190 for Houston, plus 160 for Oakland, and an 8.5.
Let's go with that fat $1.58 A's team with their big sticks to win at Minute Maid over the Astros. Let's go with Sears and Roebuck over Don't Call Me Serengeti.
I like that tonight. A little Sears and Roebuck there. Maybe we can get ourselves a little Rooker with a home run tonight. Padres in Seattle against the Mariners. Good pitching matchup, Scotty. You, Darvish, and Kirby's Dreamland going tonight. Minus 125 for Seattle, plus 105 for the Pods, and a 7.5.
Well, I got to go with Kirby's Dreamland and the M's at home because you, Darvish, has pitched once since May, and he was terrible. So I don't think it's going to get any better tonight in the Pacific Northwest for Darvish. He just doesn't have it.
Probably not. It will not get better for them. The Rangers are in Arizona, rematch of last year's World Series. Texas definitely won't be there this year. Nasty Nate Eovaldi against Zach Gallen for the Snakes, who are minus 180, plus 150 for the Rangers, and a 7.5.
Listen, it is so obvious to me that a gallon of milk is the choice, but I'm going to bet on nasty Nate Eovaldi because they beat him in the World Series. Their season's over. It doesn't even matter. And watch them beat him again at plus $1.52. I'll take the Rangers tonight with the upset.
Brewers are in San Francisco against the Giants. Aaron Savale tonight. Landon Raup starts for the Giants. I believe he's more of an opener type, Scotty. Minus 120 for Milwaukee, even money for San Francisco, and a 7.5.
I like the Brewers. They're better.
Brewers better, no doubt. And finally, the Cubs and the Dodgers. You talk about high-profile pitching matchups, especially if we go across the Pacific to the Far East. Imanaga against Yamamoto tonight. As Yamamoto comes back, he has not pitched, Scotty, since the end of June. So he returns here after a couple of rehab starts. Dodgers minus $1.60, plus 135 for Imanaga and the Cubbies, and a 7.5.
I can get Imanaga. I bet him at plus 140 already today. Give me the Cubs, Imanaga, and the under 8 runs, all of which will cash.
All of which will cash. That is what I like to hear. All of which will cash tonight out in L.A. All right, there you go. How about I'll give you a couple homers for tonight before we move on as well?
Taters.
What do you think here?
Taters.
We both think the Royals can win tonight in the Bronx, but I think that Seth Lugo could give up a homer or two. Why don't we make one of those against Juan Soto here tonight at plus 350, Scotty? In fact, Soto, 5 for 15 with a homer off of Lugo in his career. So plus 350 for Soto in that one. Anthony Santander, plus 320 for him tonight against Cutter Crawford. 4 for 11 with a homer off of him in his career. Scratch off Royce Lewis, Scotty, out of the lineup here for Minnesota. So we could take him out. I liked him against Canning, but that's not going to happen. Kyle Tucker has returned in the past couple days for the Astros. He has not homered yet since he returned, and in fact, Scotty, he has 2 homers off of J.P. Sears and Roebuck, who is now going to be the starter. So I'm going to go with Tucker there tonight, and Josh Naylor is a Tuesday staple when it comes to long balls. It does not matter who he's facing, and he's facing that cannon who gives up cannons on the White Sox. So we're going to go with Naylor for the big ball here tonight. Soto, Santander, Tucker, and Naylor, only 4 as we take Lewis out as he is scratched out of the lineup.
I think Naylor's delicious at that price, the way he's come through for you on Tuesdays ringing the bell. I mean, the guy's been a monster, so let's hope he does it tonight at that 680. Peace.
It would be very nice if he could. There's a couple of other guys. You know, I didn't put him on the list, Scotty, but I'll give it to you here. You mentioned the Pirates and the Marlins could get probably an over tonight over there at PNC. Reynolds had a nice price. I think it was $450 or $470 for him against that Aller. So I'll be rooting. I'll probably add a little Brian Reynolds to my life out at PNC tonight as well, as we can get ourselves.
And a cruise missile.
Why not? Why not? Get everybody in there. Maybe we'll have to might have to throw Berger in there too on the Miami side, since he said it's probably going to be some runs. Get the Berger man going. All right, we'll come back. Start to get into some college. I got Sark for you here today. I've got Gundy. I got a few things for college before we get out of here today. We got Brady later with the Liv also. Liv's playing this week.
Oh, sweet.
going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
What is Steve Sarkisian saying this week, Mike?
Well, of course, after the Notre Dame upset at home against Northern Illinois this past weekend, a lot of the high-profile teams now, Scotty, are going to be put on much higher alert when you have a quote-unquote inferior opponent coming in to play you that week. This week it is Texas. And listen, I don't think UTSA is that inferior. I don't think they're as good as they were a couple years ago, but you're Texas. You're one of the top 3 teams in the country. You want to put up a very big effort, especially off a huge win on the road at Michigan. Here is Steve Sarkisian already telling his players, we are not going to pull a Notre Dame this week.
We try to hold ourselves to our standard. You know, we have a saying around here, the standard is the standard. And a jersey, a helmet, a stadium doesn't dictate how we prepare. You know, we dictate how we prepare. I think that's the first part. But the second part is human nature is human nature. And so what did I do this morning? I walked them through the Notre Dame scenario of them going into College Station a week ago and winning that game and being anointed top 5 team and in the college football playoff and a week later losing to Northern Illinois. And so I showed that clip of the field goal, and I showed the clip of Northern Illinois storming the field this morning as a good reminder that nothing, we are entitled to nothing. You know, we're capable of anything. We've got a really good team, but we're entitled to nothing, and we're going to earn everything we get, and we're going to have to earn the victory here Saturday night.
Well, duh. Like, honestly, like, it's too easy to act like, you know, nobody can lose a football game because, Notre Dame lost a football game? Everyone can lose. This is going to be a bizarre college football season because we're talking about 12 spots. We're not talking about the ridiculous 4 spots that we've dealt with the last several years, which was rigged to begin with. That was rigged to begin with. At least with 12, we won't notice the rigging. I think they're still going to play favorites, and they're still going to try their best to get Notre Dame into this playoff because they make money off of Notre Dame. Notre Dame is good TV, okay? That's why they have NBC. That's why they want Notre Dame on primetime games all the time because Notre Dame sells. That's just all there is to it. What is a playoff without Notre Dame? But look, We said this yesterday. They have a bunch of games that they could lose. Everyone acting like they're going to run the tables is ridiculous. It's stupid. Texas should not have a problem with Texas San Antonio. They are too good. Their quarterback is too good. I don't want to hear it. I do not believe that Riley Leonard is that good. I think he's okay. He's no different than Hartman, if you ask me. Notre Dame's quarterback is overrated. Let's just calm down on him. And you know what? I think you're right that you said something about that they don't use him the right way. They don't let him be who he is. They've morphed him into Hartman. They've morphed him into hand the ball off. Let's pound it on the ground and be boring. Let's control the ball and get first downs. They can't even do that right.
Nope, they certainly cannot. Texas is laying 35 at home to UTSA this week. Very heavy number in Austin, which they'll probably cover, especially how they hammered Colorado State in that first game, too. Mike Gundy, we've played a couple clips of him talking about NIL over the first couple of weeks of the season. Remember, we played the one where he's like, shop's closed, it's time for football, et cetera, et cetera. Well, apparently not. Mike still wants to make a point about a few of these things. This past weekend against Arkansas, Division II transfer linebacker Obi Ezigbo stepped in and played very well for him. The media asked Mike yesterday, man, where'd you find this kid that stepped in and played so well at linebacker? Here's what Mike said.
What was it about him, and just what did you like about what you saw from McGann and stuff?
Do you want me to go back into coach talk, or do you want me to tell you the truth?
The truth.
The truth?
Yes.
He was very inexpensive. The number of players that we go after that were ready to play at this level, we can't afford. So he was a good buy and a really quality young man that had had success and has physical characteristics that we can work with Rob Glass and develop him. And so that's why he ended up here, in my opinion.
Wow, that is brutally honest and brilliant. I love it. It's just like, that's exactly what's happened to college football, is that now there's the haves and have-nots. You either have the money to buy your team, or Miami Canes, their whole team is bought and paid for. It is absolutely even the girls basketball team is bought and paid for. They brought back those Cavender twins because they left and they sucked without them, so they gave them all the money to come back.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The early line. only on SportsGrid.
And we are back, Ferrall, coast to coast here on a Tuesday. Of course, Live Golf is back this week. We've been off for a little while with Live Golf, but it does return for the individual championship. They are in Chicago at Bolingbrook. With the final one, they'll have a team event also that they have to get to, so only 2 events left on the Live calendar. Brady Cannon has been with me pretty much all season with the Live Golf, and we have had a very good season with Liv, myself and Brady. Brady's done probably a little bit better than me. We both have had a bunch of winners. We've done very good with Liv Golf this year. Brady, it is great to see you as we head to Chicago for the individual championships. It's funny, we were just talking during the break about the PGA's playoff and how they kind of do things and how they get to the Tour Championship. I was reading a little bit more about what is at stake for some of these guys at Liv this week. And they have a season-long points list, kind of a la the PGA, but, there's going to be a first, second, and third that gets decided this week. But, Brady, there's also, they got this new thing this year where the top 24 guys, spots are secured, 25 through, 45 are, free agents, but they're still going to be in Live next year. The bottom 7 guys get chopped, and they have to fight their way back in. There's actually quite a few things at stake for pretty much everybody that's going to be playing this weekend.
Yeah, you got to hand it to them. It's pretty darn cool. You're right. They call it's like the Euro Soccer League. They call it being relegated. If you don't make the final, I think you got to make the top 48 or you're relegated. Yeah. But you're right. The top 3 individuals here, and the 2 guys that are in the biggest, the front runners for that top spot individually are Jon Rahm and Joaquin Niemann. Rahm has really been very consistent throughout the entire season, a top 10 finish in every event. Niemann's been a little bit hot and cold the last couple of months, but started out guns a-blazing. He won 2 events very early, and that's why he's still very high in the points. But, right now it's obviously very, very young in its inception, but at this point, I think you would say it's a better system than what the PGA Tour has. They kind of have less to work with, and maybe in this case, less is more.
Man, that could be the case. And Rahm's been top 10 in every event this year, which is why he's got a couple of points on Niemann, who did win 2 of the first 3 events on the schedule. Hatton is in 3rd right now as they head to Chicago this week. Brady, as you usually like to do, tell me a little bit about Bolingbrook, where Liv has been before. Of course, DeChambeau won here last year. They've played here the last couple of years. Tell me a little bit about this course, about 30 miles just south of Chicago.
Well, it's not surprising that DeChambeau is your defending champion as far as this golf course goes, because I think this is absolutely a bomber's paradise. This was built, in the 90s or so, like you say, 30, 40 minutes out of Chicago. And, a common theme during those days was let's make a link-style design. Well, that just meant, putting some mounding and some contours in the fairways and throwing some native grasses around to kind of give it a little bit of a European look. But the truth is, these are very wide fairways without much rough. It's a short golf course, and guys like DeChambeau and the Bombers can absolutely overpower this place. I talked to some people that live in the Chicago area and are very surprised that this is even, being used as a professional tour event type course. They didn't feel it was really up to par as far as that goes, and that the guys would just tear this place apart. So I think that will continue. We'll see the Bombers flourish here. Like I say, the fairways are wide. You've got a little bit of undulation. The greens are pretty big and flat bent grass greens. And at 7,100 yards, a par 72, I think these guys will turn this into a birdie fest. There's a couple of par 5s where guys are going to be looking at eagles, a couple of par 4s that are drivable. So it is a little surprising to hear that, Chicago is such an incredible area for golf courses. And some of these guys were very surprised that they chose this track of everything that was possibly available to use for a live event.
Well, it sounds like like you say, all these guys who are fighting to stay in all of these positions, get in the top 25, etc., they're going to have to rack them up, get the birdies flowing this week in Chicago if they're hoping to stick around. Let's start, Brady, with your card. Tell me who you're backing this week, Live Golf in Chicago.
I went right to the top, Mike. I think Jon Rahm is clearly the best player on this tour, and the fact that there's not that many players on this tour, so there's 54 guys in the tournament. How many guys can really win it? Maybe it's 15 of them. So Rahm is probably the best player of a group of 15, 16 guys, and he has been for the last couple of months. He just comes off of a loss in a playoff to Brooks Koepka in August, had a win back in England right after the Open Championship. So I think Rahm is, head and shoulders above the rest, and it's reflected in the odds as well. He's in the neighborhood of 5-1. The next closest guy is twice the price in a DeChambeau or a Hatton or something like that. So Rahm was really the guy I looked at. He's number one on the tour in birdies. He's number one on the tour in greens and regulation. He's sixth in driving distance, and he's sixth in putting. And I think those are probably the most important categories this week. So I like Rahm. I went to the chalk. And then again, the other guy that's probably been the hottest player the last couple months is Tyrrell Hatton. These guys are teammates, and they have combined for 20 top 10 finishes on the LIV circuit. Hatton is third in birdies. He's third in greens and he's third in putting. He's 10th in greens and regulation. So he checks the boxes as far as the stats as well. I got him at 12-1. And then I went with Koepka, who we know is a guy that can play like a bomber. Jon Rahm absolutely can play bomber mode. We know Koepka can as well. His wins at, Bethpage and Oak Hill, and his win last month at the Greenbrier, which I thought was another course that was perfect for the bombers, where we've seen DeChambeau and Joaquin Niemann do well. Xander Schauffele's done well. So I think once again, we're going to see the big hitters flourish here. And I wanted to go with the guys that I feel are the best on this circuit. Koepka's got reason. He still has a chance to get on that podium for an individual award. Rahm, as we mentioned, is the front runner to win that award, and Hatton is currently sitting in third place. So all these guys have reason to try and finish strong. I think they're the best players on the circuit, and they're also in good form, and I think they can tear this course apart, lending itself to the bomb and gouge style. I think all these guys can play that way this week. And like I said, it's fairly chalky, but, it's hard. I just didn't see myself going a lot deeper down the board this week, Mike.
Brady, I'm with you, honestly. I don't think this is a week. I mean, me and you have had a few this year, whether it was Brendan Steele or Ortiz. We've had some guys maybe a little further down the board, but it feels like as we get to the end here, one of these big guys is going to win this big individual championship, this event in Chicago. It just feels right for that. So I'm with you. I like Rahm, but I'm going to go with DeChambeau on my card to start things off at plus 750. I'm taking Niemann because I think he wants this. You listen to him in some of his interviews this week. He's always got this chip on his shoulder, Brady. He's always upset about something, and he feels disrespected. He's now disrespected. He's not on the President's Cup team in a couple weeks. So I think he's going to come out with a big performance at plus 850. Cam Smith won here a couple years ago. Anytime Cam Smith and LIV for me, Brady, gets under like the 12-13 range, I think he's a little bit of a go. So at 16, I caught him at the other day. I'm going to take a shot. And Patrick Reed at 25-1. He's hanging around 20th. He needs to play well. And he hasn't won this year or the last 2 years on LIV. And I feel like Reed, that's going to be the one little dart throw that I'm going to take this week, Brady. So I think we're both on the same page here. The big names are going to come to the top at LIV Chicago. And next week, Brady, we have the team championship, which is in Dallas, I believe, is where they're going to go and finish off that LIV season. I got like 20 seconds, Brady. I mean, PGA's playing this week too. Give me somebody for Napa. I know they changed the name to Procore now. Give me somebody for Napa.
I went with much longer shots in Napa this week. Maverick McNeely at 22 was my shortest shot. And then I went to Eric Cole, J.J. Spahn, Jacob Bridgman, and who else? I can't remember.
Brady Cannon with us. We're back after this.
going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Great job today, Frank the Tank, and of course, Luke Hamilton, as we dive back in, and that's your boy Brady Cannon styling in Sin City. Hopefully I'll be able to see him when I'm out there. Let's jump back into the college rock. You got football galore this week, and there's stories. How about this story? Like, I should have brought it up to Dre today, how players suddenly think that they can sue their old schools for money that's supposedly owed to them. I say if you didn't get an NIL deal when you were there, you lose.
Yeah, I think this is you're going to see a lot more of this, Scotty, as we continue to move forward, especially if these guys are successful. Denard Robinson, Braylon Edwards are among a large group of former Michigan players who filed class action lawsuit against the NCAA and the Big Ten Network, saying that they should be compensated for their name, image, and likeness, of course, NIL, because they still, they showed all the clips, the highlights, the interviews, things like that throughout the years of them. All these guys want to get paid, Scotty. Give them the money. They want bags. Give them the bags.
Like, this to me is, now listen, as you know, I play a lawyer on Law and Order, and this is easy money for me. I'm going to court, and I'm going to say, real simply, wait a minute. You had your chance when you were at Ann Arbor to get your big, fat NIL deals done yourselves. And what were you doing the whole time? Getting laid? Out partying? Why did you not get that money when you were there? We're not giving you any money. I'm not losing a lawsuit to this kid over, we should have got money because we were there and you used our likeness. That's not palpable. It really isn't. You know what I mean? That doesn't hold water with me. Like, you had your chance and you didn't do it. What, now you're crying?
Well, look, these guys obviously played in a day where this stuff wasn't available, right? It was more under the table. People were getting paid under the table. So that's why now all of these – didn't this happen in basketball too with like the Houston team from the era, the NCAA, some team from the 80s tried this as well, that they should be paid because – Look, you're going to pay everyone from before 2 years ago? You're going to pay every athlete who ever played in college because they missed out on it? That's going to be very tricky to handle.
This is akin to hearing people complain when every day a guy now makes more money in their contract. This is like listening to a guy cry about, I made $10 million when I was a pro. This guy's making $60 million a year. Why didn't I get that money? Because you played at a time when you got the market value of $10 million. When you are a NIL athlete nowadays, you get paid to play college sports. When you were a college athlete before and they didn't have it, it's called you effing lose. They didn't have it. You don't deserve Shaq when it wasn't there, when you were there. I don't care how big you were or are. You know what? If you're such a badass, then how come you don't have some gigantic NFL contract? Where's all that money? Where's all your big fat deals now? Nobody wants you. So what do? Here, let's sue everybody. You know, we live in a world that is demented with people suing people. I mean, this is a demented lawsuit, if you ask me. To be honest, like, what are you talking about? You didn't get the money when you had a chance, and now you want it? Like, cry me a river. Honestly, like, oh, I went out with her for 6 weeks, and I never got any. Oh, I just wish so bad she'd go out with me one more time. I can't believe she ended up sleeping with the quarterback of the team and not me. I deserve something, don't I? Like, are you kidding me? This is a joke. Like, everyone does civil lawsuits. It just constantly, it just never ends. Is there anything, literally, and some of my best friends are lawyers, and I hate all of them. Is there anything worse than lawyers? Honestly, lawyers really are, they're the harbinger of evil. They really are. If you're a lawyer right now, you know I'm telling the truth. Even my best friends that are filthy rich lawyers, they even know they're crooked. They even know that they're evil. They all do. My guy drives around in a Ferrari going, can you believe this? He goes, all I did was get the guy out for being drunk. It never ends with me, with lawyers. You know what I tell my son all the time? Let's be clear. I tell him, I don't care how much pot you smoke at San Diego State. Get your law degree. Pass the bar and defend rich criminals, real rich ones. Get the worst of the worst. You've heard me say this a million times, Mike. If you want to make it in the world, every lawyer I know, even the worst lawyers I know have money. Honestly, they all have money. They all make money because they're all liars and thieves, and they're good at BSing. Trust me, I should have been a lawyer. I'm too good at doing this. I don't know what to do. I should have been a lawyer. Carver High, Ferrall Law Firm. Can you imagine the money flowing in? NIL, we'll do NIL lawsuits.
Go get the big
it's
bag.
It's never too late,
NIL
Carver. We'll go back to college.
That's it. It's never too late for any of it. That's for sure. Riley Leonard's shoulder issue, still expected to play for Notre Dame as they visit Purdue coming up this week.
Watch him lose again.
I'll give you one rack.
Watch him lose again.
Yeah, I hope not. I'll give you just one rack of games because Notre Dame's on the first rack of some of the bigger games this week that we have going on. They will head to West Lafayette to see the Boilermakers. There it is, Scotty, on the screen for you. Notre Dame laying 10 what is that now? 10.5. They're laying at Purdue. We have Alabama, Wisconsin, LSU, South Carolina, Boston College, Missouri. Boston College has had a good start to the year. And Oregon and Oregon State playing in early September this year.
I think Oregon State will cover. I think Boston College can cover. I think LSU will destroy South Carolina and have sex with their cheerleaders. And Alabama's going to do the same thing at Camp Randall. I have been hearing about Luke Fickell and the Wisconsin Badgers like they matter. Like now, I've been hearing that this guy, I saw he was literally in the top 3 tiers of coaching, that he's one of the best coaches in America at Wisconsin. Meanwhile, his teams are hair dryer city. I mean, honestly, like if he's a great coach, you know what I should do? I should get into coaching. If he can do it, anybody can do it because he sucks. All I hear is how great Wisconsin is. Watch what happens to them when the KY jelly comes out on Saturday against Alabama and Milroe. Watch what happens. It's bend over Saturday in Madtown. Everyone's going to be drunk and high, but they ain't winning.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, I know on that second rack, I like that A&M over Florida. I like Georgia, obviously, over Kentucky. And in that third rack that you were going to show, you see the second rack there. And I think pick can be West Virginia. Third rack, I like your pick, UCLA to lose to Indiana outright of the Rose Bowl. Indiana laying 2.5. Cignetti's got an offense, and UCLA doesn't. And Colorado, if they can't beat Colorado State, they have no Shedeur Sanders. He's out 3 weeks with he had arm surgery. I don't even know what happened to him, but he's out. So why not the Rams and 7.5? TCU at home, and Cal will beat San Diego State. I don't know about that big number, though. San Diego State looked terrible against Oregon State, Mike.
That is Shiloh who's out, not Shedeur. Shiloh is out.
I can't keep track of all the Shilohs.
Shiloh is out.
The Shedeur. Oh, Shiloh's the is he the which one's the quarterback?
Safety.
The safety. The safety's one that had arm surgery?
Yes. Shedeur is going to be there.
Colorado has to beat Colorado State. Otherwise, it'll be really embarrassing.
Yes, it would. If
I don't care about his children, let's just say. And I don't care about his program, and I don't care about him. How's that? The trifecta. I am not one of these people that sucks up to Deion Sanders. And incidentally, Kaplan, again, this is another week that goes by. I never got my sunglasses. Remember this guy talking big about giving me sunglasses? You know, you can't tell kids that Santa's coming and then not get the gifts.
SMU is switching to Kevin Jennings at quarterback to help jumpstart the offense. We'll see how that goes.
Whoever
Pitt
that is.
Fired athletic director Heather Lyke. The school is seeking a new vision, Pitt. And everybody loves Heather Lyke. Said she did a great job there, but the school wants a new vision. James Dolan will not support.
Can you say that?
James Dolan will not support the NBA's 2024-2025 operating budget. He informed the Board of Governors that he will vote no at today's meeting for the budget and on the election of a new Board of Governors chair. We did this a couple weeks ago. James isn't happy that he has to split the money, Scotty. That's why James is unhappy in this new media deal. Doesn't want to cut the pot.
I actually agree with the Dolan, and he's crazy. But I'll tell you one thing: I feel he's a really shrewd businessman. I think he knows what he's doing, and I think he knows that Adam Silver is a used car salesman. He is doing anything he can to make money. He doesn't care about James Dolan, the Knicks, and I think Dolan's right. I think the league is I think they're real shifty with money. I mean, the money they are making on TV deals and the money they are keeping in their coffers, to me, it's just illegal. I can't even tell you. It's criminal. I think Silver and the rest of them are a bunch of thieves. And I think Dolan's right.
Yeah, probably is. Christian Wood of the Lakers basically didn't play the last 3 months of last season, and now he's going to be out 8 weeks with knee surgery. I don't know why he didn't get the knee surgery at the end of last season when he missed all that time, but now Christian Wood.
Oh, I know why. Because he's such a terrible player.
That could be why. Gonzaga coach Mark Few has named Brian Michelson as his replacement when he retires, although he has said there is no plan for him to retire. I always love when these schools do this.
Here we go. Jim Boeheim-itis. The guy saying, here's the guy going to replace me. I'll let you know when I'm going to stop coaching. Like, is there any worse story in sports than the guy that says he's going to replace me, but I don't know when I'm going to quit?
I'll give you a story that was close, and thankfully is going to be over soon. All the stories that maybe Sidney Crosby wouldn't finish his career in Pittsburgh with the Penguins, I thought all of those stories were absolute nonsense as well. Crosby said yesterday he's pretty optimistic. He'll sign the extension before the season even starts. They've made tons of progress. He's going to finish his career in Pittsburgh. Crosby is never going to play for another team ever.
He was leaving the Penguins, automatic. Remember?
Him and many others thought that.
Yeah,
and that's not going to happen.
Whatever.
PGA Tour officials
they hate the Penguins like you do. They're all jealous.
I hate the Penguins. PGA Tour officials, including Tiger Woods, meeting with the Saudi Arabia PIF officials in New York City today. These people have had several meetings already, and absolutely nothing has been accomplished. So I don't expect anything to be accomplished today either. There you go.
I wish the Saudis would offer me a bunch of money because I would take it. And not only that, I would set up a residency in Riyadh for you and I to do shows in the desert.
There you go.
Yes, we'll bring Luke and Frank.
Very hot there. So there you go. Leftovers went so long that you can't even start the Ferrell finish. Too many leftovers today. You're not going to get
really record-setting leftovers that we don't do Ferrell finish. People disappointed. GTD is there. Go to FerrellOnTheBench.com. I have no reason why. We'll see you tomorrow at 3. I will be here. Remember, I will. Thank God. I'm coming to guys.
You got Porzingis, you got Holiday, you got Derek White, you got literally, I would say what, 5 guys who can get you 20 points in a game?
I know people will say it's only one guy. I don't believe that, Coach. That one guy. Those days are over, in my opinion. Like a Bill Russell, a Wilt Chamberlain.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
You're going a little deep bomb hunting here. We don't care that we have the one heavy favorite with Rory, a couple other guys like Fleetwood and Tagala, etc. You're going to go a little deeper down the board.
This course, I think, is going to play a little bit more to the wedges. They have, what they did is they've renovated it to basically block off some of the bombing alleys for these guys. They've narrowed the fairways.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole is getting ready to come back, too. I guess look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, look, don't come back. I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
8 playoff games at home for Boston in being down. They are 6-2 straight up.
The wild card, I would say, in this game is not necessarily, well, what are we going to get out of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Brown, and certainly Tatum. It is Kristaps Porzingis to me, because we're not getting back a player that's like, hey, rotational guy. Like, remember when Derek Lively went down with the injury? He was playing well, but a young player, like a piece.
The early line. only on SportsGrid.